The Ekosiisen in higher sempa 94.7 FM. Media say bonsu. Make us say some 31 minutes after 5, 6:30 p.m. na jumedi eba ewiye. Mamin come for Ecobank 30 for 30 loyalty promotion no amount. Unim say Ecobank is 30 years. And to mark this anniversary, we are rewarding 30 loyal customers for 30 days. From the 30th of December and the 28th January 2021 year. And the way Ecobank as part of your 30 years anniversary celebrations, no, I just say rewarded your customers back 30. Now we're for 30 days in the every day. In the 30 days, no one customer would win something fantastic. Ain't it? If you want to be a winner, just tune in each day to Drive Time on Joy FM and correctly answer questions on the Ecobank mobile, GHQR, and the history of Ecobank to be one of the lucky winners of 3,000 Ghana cedis each and every day for the 30 days. Into 30th December, the year, and 5th January, Egusua till 28th January. Every day will be winning 3,000 Ghana cedis. It's amazing. In the Ecobank at 30 is celebrating 30 years of financial innovation and banking excellence. Download the Ecobank mobile from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. And remember to stay safe. Ecobank, the Pan-African Bank. Obapa products is a Wuntobia, Mestrel. Nyabi Goofy, and your Africa Queen Mackerel, your Oba Papa Sardine, and your Obapa Tomato Paste. Nina Wunyabia, a boa papa, Emma, if ye a energy, because Unya Africa Queen Mackerel now say, oh, yeah, jollof, oh, yeah, and quine stew. Would be a kui papa pen or bapa sardine and so more pemo salad and also winya beer a bow and your bapa tomato paste and also your original tomato paste, pure red and very, very nutritious. Obapa now have in stock, easy to open, no need for knives or 10 cutters. In the tens no ochin ya ne be here se kind 10 cutter beer. And it's all for our products, the Africa Queen Mackerel, Obapa Sardine, and Obapa Tomato Paste. So, okay, and you may do it to our offer 0302 668357 0302 668357 Obapa Tomato Paste, or say Wara Wobecheke. And now, Agbeve Herbal Sentence so. The Mona soap and the Mona cream and a abejaso. And there's a OPBB for the effective cleansing of your body from body odor. If you want your skin to look natural and fresh, and unyin so ebefu kama on sahu on usinwini bibia ebefu kama uhia Mona soap now the jare now the Mona cream and so astra so kama yawo agbeve fever and also to fight the onset and the outset of malaria and also boa and yawo agbeve tonic and agbeve balm tonic no yenuanom ma mo suffer from menstrual clotted blood flow, Flemish menses and also black menses. Unya bi no mo a me kire agbeve tonic na boa and tonic na so kutia koko and the man ne mema koko hawa onumbia etu ase ye wa agbeve balm and also bodily pains ohunami to 2 boils me kire pompo severe waist pains we see ya we ya ankasa and when your dislocation being some of your joints and also no o de agbeve balm no etwiso a etu ase kama na bibia etumi akoye agbeve herbal hospital say eye waya resa fie eneha so opese ofre won wa 0246 595256 0246 595256 na one won etumi edi enkomo Ansana yebekoni yakosha ase di nkomo afa State of the Nation's address now and both the minority and majority members in the 7th Parliament were present when the president was speaking and omunyina nso enya kwan akasa ede afa ehunti yebekoni ene won akwa akodi ho nkomo but before that no some few statements ayensa aka me de eno ebetwam na afi yahwe etumi atoaso before I bring you the statement yensa aka statement back from the Ghana Water Company Ghana Water Company statement ewa ena afei the NDC in Hohoi constituency and so the statement aba. But first mamenkwa Homan Honorable ABA Fusaini spokesperson for the minority in the current 7th Parliament. Honorable ABA Fusaini, good evening and thanks for joining us.
Good evening and good evening to your listeners and to your good self.
It's been a while. I hope you're doing well.
My brother, by the grace of the Almighty, only the Almighty. If it had been left to hopelessly uninspired regime, my brother will be in trouble.
Congratulations on your win as well. Your people voted for you to represent them in Parliament again, right?
The Sona constituency is an impregnable area for any other political party. I can tell you without any I talk that by the grace of Allah.
Ekosiisen on Sona FM.
Till thy kingdom come, you said? Till thy kingdom come?
As far as it's foreseeable, let me put it that way. Because of the great work, and it's not just because it is by any divine intervention, but because of the great positive work the NDC has done in the constituency ever since it was created. If you want, and I want to count, we can spend the whole time on the situation of electricity before the NDC came, water, schools, roads, bridges, infrastructure, anything you can talk about. And the 4 years of massive work that my good self and His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama's government did. That is why the people will remain forever, eternally grateful to the NDC for the great work we have done in the Sona Council. As I said, look, President Akufo-Addo came there, they distributed goods for 3 good days. Money, rice, oil, street light, taco, magic cubes. They distributed anything and everything under the sun. And yet they still lost woefully. So it tells you that the Sona constituency, they can do whatever they like. I said it some time ago that with all due respect, even if Nana Akufo-Addo himself comes to stand at the constituency, he'll be beaten like a drum.
So this is your 3rd term in Parliament, right?
Yeah, this is my 3rd term, yes.
Oh, okay. So you spent your 1st term with the NDC in power, your 2nd term with the NPP in power.
Yes.
And was there any difference between the two?
I have never seen a brazen attempt to corrupt the people like this under this election. And like I told you, they distributed volumes of money, oil, rice, anything you can think of. The president himself came to do campaign in the area. The vice president came, they deployed the regional minister, the metropolitan chief executive for Tamale, Sona municipal chief there. Anything they threw, everything there. Still, they could not find any good go through. And that tells you that is why I always refer to the Sona as the Burkina people of the Sona concept. Nobody can corrupt them. So all the corrupt tendencies they try to infuse in the area never work. Never work and will never work.
Oh, okay.
Because we told them when they bring the keys, you collect it. But make sure that you vote proper. So you don't show and even the way to his house. So in our people, they already know that integrity levels are beyond reproach.
So by what margin did you win the constituency?
I'm telling you, closer to 9,000 votes.
Oh, okay.
So that it was not in a near fight.
And you won both the presidential and the parliamentary.
The presidential was even by a wider margin. Wider margin.
Meaning John Mahama is popular in your constituency than yourself.
My brother, in a parliamentary election, you need just 1 vote to win a life.
Sona FM.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So if I can work for my presidential candidate to get a greater vote than myself, is that not the ideal thing you should work for? Because I need just 1 vote. And I got, like I told you, it's more than 8,000 getting to 9,000 votes. So I didn't need all those excess votes. But President Mahama needed every single vote that I can get for you. So even in any opposition area, anybody who intended to vote for President Nana Akufo-Addo, and I could go and meet him and persuade him to take away his vote, I did it. And to a very large extent, more people voted for President Mahama. And that is a huge credit.
Your constituency is in the northern region, I suppose.
Yeah, sure.
In the northern region.
Yes.
I mean, I've heard election watchers say that the NPP seem to have done well in the northern enclave. By that I mean the 5 northern regions, and especially in the Savannah, the northern and the northeast region. You share that opinion, I think.
It is not true. But
Really?
for you to reach that conclusion, now go back and look at what number of seats did the MPP have in the 5 northern regions before the election. In the northern region, for instance, they had only 9 seats, isn't it? Go and see where did they increase the number of seats in the northern region. They didn't increase their number of seats. They are still where they were. If you go to Savannah, in terms of the preponderance of the number of seats, the NDC has more seats in the Savannah area than the NPP. It is only in the northeast. It's in the northeast that they have 4 seats versus 2 seats for the NDC. If you go to Upper East, and I want to commend the Upper East people, they did a yeoman's job. The MPP was totally whitewashed. They were trounced. They were walloped in the Upper East region. Out of 15 seats, the MPP have only 1 seat in the Upper West region, in the Upper East region. Single 1 seat. The NDC swept all the seats in the Upper East, except the Binduru constituency. And there it was even a close margin. Okay? If you go to the Upper West region, the NDC claimed more seats from the MPP than was in the
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM.
So if you put all the regions, the 5 regions as a whole, the MPP lost mostly. Yeah, but to even begin to imagine that the NPP holds a region in the northern part of the country is surprising, because we grew up knowing that those areas are strongholds of the NDC.
If you just take a region consisting of 6 constituencies, 6 constituencies of which we were holding 4, I mean, what kind of achievement is that? It's no achievement. That is why they kept the region, so that they can have something to tell about the story of an area they hold. That's where all their seats were. And so they simply just kept that area and attempted to hold it and project it as if it's an area in the north they hold. Out of all the regions I've mentioned, it is the only area. And the total number of seats in that region is only 6. Only 6 constituencies. So what kind of victory is that?
Yeah, but generally, the NPP winning some constituencies they've never won before in the northern part of the country, doesn't that say something? You take Karaga constituency, you take Myong, you take all of those constituencies.
Yes, they won them all right. But I'm just saying why. We have won Edubiasi.
That was your seat. That was a seat.
I'm saying that it is not whether it was our seat or not. This is in the stronghold, the biggest stronghold of the NPP in the entire country, in Ashanti region. They have indicated that in our Operation 47 over 47, we're not going to pick even 1 seat. Go and listen to their chairman. What is he called?
Wuntumi.
Yes, go and listen to him. He said even 1 seat will not take. We have increased the number of seats. Indeed, across the length and breadth of the country, the NDC increased the seats. Look, from a 63 seat majority, the MPP is struggling to steal until they steal seats before they can even get 137.
No, but that's not a fair comment coming from the spokesperson of the minority.
That is.
I mean, stealing is a strong allegation.
They are stealing seats. Look, let me ask you, my brother. In Techiman, has there been a coalition?
Is that the basis for your stealing claim?
Before the God that you said.
No, is that the basis for your stealing claim?
I am just asking you. I just asked a simple question. In Techima staff consultancy, has it been collated?
There is a gazette that I know of.
Master, you have not answered my question.
No, but you don't expect me to answer your question the way you want it to.
In the Techima consultancy, has the election been collated? The result been collated?
The EC says so. They have collated the result.
Where did they collate the results? They cannot even show evidence of even the results they collated. So no collating was done. You don't collate the results. How do you declare the results? It's thievery, stealing, fraud. It's clear. And issues of fraud in this election. From the time Madam Jimenta went and declared 51.5% when you even do the calculation, you find out that it's a fraudulent calculation. Fraud.
No, but those are matters you are in court on, so you should be minded by that.
In this matter, that is why we are before the court. So it's clear.
Okay.
So let anybody come and doubt. On the contrary, today the MP, having been stripped of all their 63-seat majority, are struggling in Parliament. It tells you that they have lost the election. Clear and simple.
How is that? How is that? I mean, the fact that they lost seats in parliament means they lost the presidential election. Is that your understanding?
In the first case, no government in this country has won the election and lost parliament. That's the first thing. Secondly, in areas where even the NDC didn't win the parliament election, President Mahama won. Many constituencies across the length and breadth of the country.
Yeah, and there are many constituencies.
That even the 141 that we hear on, when you bring it to President Mahama's level, we are talking about 180 plus, 170 plus. Okay.
There are many other constituencies where NPP MPs lost, but another won. A classic example is the Central Region.
Yeah, I'm just indicating to you. Go and look at the margins in those areas. There are not many. You cannot count those. On the contrary, President Mahama's numbers where he won and his parliamentary candidate will be far more than Nana Akufo-Addo, where Nana Akufo-Addo won and his parliamentary candidate.
Are you by your early analysis on the NPP's inroad in the northern part of the country, discounting the impact and the influence of Dr. Bawumia in those areas?
I'm just indicating to you that this was seats they held for. On the contrary, we even took seats from them.
No, but they never held Mion, they never held Karaga, yes. They never held Tolong, and all of those seats. And people have said that the Bawumia factor did the trick for them.
NPP has held Tolong before. So this was not the first time they won Tolong.
Okay.
So let me correct that.
Okay.
And we should go for this.
This is not the first time
they are holding it. So some of them, it's not the first time. It's just that some of those seats used to swing between NDC and MPP. And they simply went back and won those seats back. But I'm just telling you that the clean sweep in so many of these other areas, I just indicated to you first. Their main seat in Naleru, we took it back. We took back Bunkuru from them. We took back Wilson from the MPP. Okay? So there are seats the NDC took back from the MPP, even in this election. So it is not as if it's a one-way street. They took back Karaga and Young from us. We took back seats. We also took back seats from them.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes, so I can tell you overall in the north.
So for you, nobody can claim.
Even though in the northern region, the Gabon area, the situation seems to have been a stalemate. But in the greater part of the north, the NDC won.
Okay. Largely. Okay. Were you in Parliament today?
Yes.
Okay, so you sat through the State of the Nation address presented by the President?
No, I did not.
Why?
I did not. Maybe we can interrogate the reasons later, but I did not.
No, meaning you left when he was about speaking?
Ekosiisen
I was not there.
FM.
But you said you were in Parliament today.
I was in Parliament. You can be in Parliament without being in the chamber.
So where were you?
I was not in the chamber.
And the reason being you did not want to sit through the President's speech?
I think we'll discuss the reason later, but I was not in the chamber.
So have you?
That's an answer now that I was not in the chamber.
Have you listened to the speech?
I have seen listened to it. Yes, snippets of the speech.
You were impressed, right?
Very. If I say disappointed, because to say I was disappointed is an understatement, because I didn't expect anything better. It was a hopelessly uninspiring speech.
The speech by the President today
was hopelessly uninspiring.
Is it because you didn't listen him speak live?
I'm just, even from what I've heard, I said after that, I took my time to listen to the speech, and it was hopelessly uninspiring. It's a sad commentary on the state of affairs of the country today. Whichever angle you take it, from his reneging, a president who has said he was prepared to put his presidency online to fight Galamsey, now asking for a national conversation on it. Is that how long we have come?
But what's wrong with calling for a national conversation?
Alpha and Omega who brought peace and stability to Gabon. That is far from the truth.
Asempa FM.
Because long before even he became president, Gabon had witnessed peace, where Abudus and Andanis on January 2015 danced the Damba in front of the Goa Palace, and President Mama was given the title of Somarunau, Chief Reconciler of Gabon. And somebody comes today and tells us that he is the one, he is the Alpha and Omega of peace. Go and find out the title they gave to him. Today, the young man is the supreme leader of the Gabon. Under his watch, the Ghana is four chiefs. They have not been able to go. One of them is a former NPP chairman sitting in NATO. Under his watch, who is encouraging this impunity in the Gabon? Look, there are many things that can be said.
You are, you know Professor Jampo, right?
I do.
Okay, so he did a write-up after the president's speech, and this is what he said in his introductory comment. He said, and I quote, "The president's State of the Nation's address was concise, erudite, straightforward, and simple. He touched virtually on everything from where Ghana was at the time he was sworn in as president and what the situation is, what the situation in his view is now. I think generally there has been some honesty in telling us what has been done and in presenting to us the state of the nation." This is what he thinks about the president's speech.
Well, I cannot take away the democratic right of Professor Jampo to express his opinion. I mean, that is his opinion. But who says that all of us as Ghanaians must share the opinion of Professor Jampo? I sharply disagree with him. Look, what did the president say on corruption? This is perhaps the most corrupt government in the history of our country. Look at the levels of the issues of corruption that has come under his watch. One single matter, has he investigated it? Has he actually brought it to a conclusion? Under his watch, for 4 good years. So what was his delivery on the state of corruption in Ghana? Did you hear anything? What did he say? My brother, we just have an election where 8 people were murdered, 8 precious lives, measured by brutes, criminals. And the president of the Republic addresses an issue and doesn't even touch on it. He doesn't even find it necessary that Ghanaians should have been lost. Because he sees them, maybe not, they are not MPP supporters. If they are not MPP supporters, they are not Ghanaian enough for him to mention that the state of national affairs. And this is the president who has sworn an oath to protect all Ghanaians. And he's protecting his only for MPP members. MPP members can commit the most heinous of crimes. Nothing will happen to them. They will go scot-free. Let any person who is not an NDC person even get still challenge water. He will languish in jail. This is the Nana Akufo-Addo's unjust Ghana that he's overseeing. Is it helpful?
In that same speech, Honorable, the president calls on both sides of parliament to work together in the 8th parliament, which is yet to be sworn in. That should be a good call from a president who wants to unite our country, you know?
Master, when he was president in the 7th parliament, why didn't he make that call? He's making the call because today his call is irrelevant. Because he has seen that Ghanaians have given the NDC their parliamentary majority, which they are struggling to steal. But I'm indicating to you that he has seen that he has no way in this parliament.
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM.
So he's only accepting the reality. It's not a sincere call, and we on this other side don't see that call as a sincere call. He's busy trying to steal our parliamentary seats, and on the other one hand, he's calling on us to cooperate. Who is going to strip you naked in public and go and clothe you in private, and you accept that kind of call? We categorically reject that kind of call.
In other words, you are not going to.
We will hold his feet to the fire of accountability.
In other words, you are not going to cooperate.
And you come and bulldoze things through. They have come to an end. I can tell you now that now the supreme interest of this country will be paramount. The scandals, so things that he got from the one he partnered with Ahmed Novation when he accused the NDC of overpricing of 530 million. When the thing was $530 million, he comes and he's bringing $1.3 million himself. When he gave executive approval, the president himself was coming to please the country with this kind of thing. Those kind of scandalous do not have any place in this parliament.
Honorable Fusaini, in other words,
the scandalous PDS deal, the scandalous Ejapa.
Honorable Fusaini, can I ask a question?
We will check some all of them.
On Asempa FM.
In other words, you are not going to cooperate for the smooth running of government business in the House, right?
Which kind of cooperation? I say we are going to uphold the supreme interest of the country. That is cooperation. And so if the cooperation is used on making sure that this will not be a rubber stamp parliament, where you just come and pass scandalous things through and get to, you will no longer get that free passage. We are going to make sure that the critical scrutiny, we will dot every I and cross every T, and make sure that the supreme national interest will be what can pass through this parliament. You will never again have a free pass and pass through some of those scandalous things that you brought in the past.
I hear the functional executive committee of your party met today, and the party has decided to present your own choice of a speaker, in this case, Alban Sumana Bagben. Have you heard that?
Of course, yes.
What do you think?
This is the best material Parliament could ever have gotten. Not only is Mr. Bagben the longest serving member of Parliament in Ghana's history. Okay? I'm not even saying under the aegis of the Fourth Republic. But he's the longest serving member of Parliament in Ghana's history. He's one of the most competent members of Parliament. When it comes to talking about mastering the rules and actually even extricating Parliament, there have been times when Parliament has gone into a crisis. We have had to rely on honorable bodies' accumulated knowledge and wisdom to extricate the House, and for us to do on the EVK in the understanding of the workings of the House. So this is the longest serving, the most competent, the most dedicated, the one who can help Parliament to make further progress. He is the best suited person as a candidate for Speaker than any other person in the history of our country. And rightly so, I want to believe that all members, he has earned the respect of members across the divide. And I'm very confident that if they allow the due process to go on, Honorable Alban Sumana Bagben will emerge as the next speaker of this parliament. But
where true process means?
That is not manipulated. The NPP, they are interested in always manipulating things.
How would voting in parliament be manipulated? How would that happen?
Because it's supposed to be the secret ballot principle.
Absolutely.
But in many of these other things, they always find ways to try and undercut that principle, so that principle doesn't work.
No, but the point is, you both have 137 each. So if all things are equal, the NDC side should vote 137, the NPP side should vote 137. The independent candidate will decide. So where would the undercutting come from?
Yeah, so I'm just indicating to you that, number one, how do you know how the independent candidate has decided? Even notwithstanding he may have indicated his preference for one party or the other. You can't tell. Can you?
Yeah, he's made it public that he would.
There are people in the NPP who know that Mr. Bagben is a better candidate
than the current speaker.
Why not?
Hey.
Mr. Bagben is a better candidate. There's no doubt about that.
Than the current speaker?
There is no doubt about that, my brother. Bring anybody. You can mention anybody. I am telling you that he's a better candidate. And I just gave you the reasons. I didn't control those reasons. I gave you cogent reasons about his performance in Parliament. The fact that he's the longest serving. The fact that he has extricated Parliament in difficult times with his interventions. Okay? So he's a better person. He's a master of the rules.
Do you know that the last time both sides of the aisle presented a candidate, the NDC then in the minority lost out on the second deputy speaker position? You know that history, no?
That is not overriding concern for us. Why? Who tells you that if you don't get a second deputy speaker, your fortune to dim in any way? They will not. They will not.
So Bagben will be presented as your speaker, and then
inshallah.
And then when it gets
as the next speaker of this parliament,
when it gets to the second deputy speaker choice, the NPP side would also present a candidate, and maybe you might not win that one as well.
Let the day come and let the decision be made. We live by it.
What should we expect on the day of swearing in of Parliament?
In terms of what?
In terms of, because already there is controversy as to who has majority now and where the majority would sit and where the so-called minority would also sit. There's already controversy, no?
I can only tell you that when we get to the bridge, we'll cross it. I will not say anything here, but I've just indicated to you when we get the bridge, we'll cross.
I have also heard that on your side, the leadership on your side would remain unchanged pending the petition in the Supreme Court. You've heard that as well, no?
Come again.
I've heard that the leadership on your side will not change for now until the Supreme Court petition is heard.
Oh, my brother, why do you even change a winning team? Under the leadership of Honorable Haruna Iddrisu, who today is the majority, who will soon become, in the next day or two, the majority leader in this country. By the grace of Allah, you don't change a winning team. And under his stewardship, we have, the NDC has made substantial progress. I just indicated to you that the FPP lost this election. Clear and square. From a 63 majority, they are struggling to steal 1 or 2 seats to be able to even make up the number. But they have to even give them seats that were not collated. But
the logic in that statement is defective.
What is defective about that?
No. So because they lost a number of seats, meaning they lost the presidential. No. So that means they lost the presidential election.
Exactly. And I just indicated to you.
But that's defective logic.
Parliamentary candidates lost and President Mahama won. Many of them. I just indicated to you. But for the vote padding and all those things, my brother, everybody knows that. You see the evidence. So clearly, they lost this election.
Okay. Okay. So would wait and see what would happen in the Supreme Court. But would you be there
until the evidence comes out there? You see.
Would you be present for the inauguration of the president, the swearing in?
Which president?
The president-elect Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
I don't recognize that.
How so?
I don't. I just indicated to you that what would take place in anything would be an exhibition of fraud. Because we don't agree that there was any president-elect by our calculation. We are not. We don't agree with that. And that is why we are in court.
So you would boycott the inauguration?
I am just indicating to you, let me say for now, that I'm not the leader of the NDC. The NDC will take that decision, but I will not be there.
Are you? You will not be there?
Yes.
Irrespective of the decision that the leadership takes?
I will not be there. I'm just indicating to you that I will not be there.
Honorable ABF for saying it's a pleasure talking to you.
You cannot be sacking somebody in the evening and making good night.
You sack him in the evening and do what?
I said you cannot be sacking somebody in the evening for him to be greeting you good night.
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM.
The people of this country have getting Sona Nana Akufo-Addo. He has no business being there.
You know, as a side issue, when the vice president was in your constituency, he made the point that for you, everything is down to proverbs. When the people ask of water, you give them proverbs.
Having gone there and done the campaign, he has seen his smoothness level. Because the people have told him that not until I say I'm not interested in the constituency again, they can come and throw all the money that they want to throw. They can throw everything they want to throw. Because he went there and saw the development I've done for the constituency. Unprecedented level of development in the constituency. And that is why the people have absolute confidence in me. So they can throw all the money that they want to throw. Throw all the logistics, throw all the things. Nothing will come out of it. In other words, the people are interested in the proverbs, huh? So, my brother, if you think that there's no gravity, you jump and let's see whether you suspend. You will come down. The truth is, a lie is like pregnancy. When you tell it today, they may not know, but with the passage of time, you will expose. Just like a pregnancy is 1 day, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 months. You can hide it. Hide it when it is 9 months.
Ekosiisen on Asempa
So
FM.
today, the truth is coming out. And the Burkina people of the South Constituency have demonstrated that you don't frighten a chief warrior with a mustache. That is his trademark. And so they are up and they know that you don't show an indigent the way to his house. Because that is a path he traverses every day. You cannot challenge the people of Sanaru constituency with their integrity. And men and women of integrity, which are integrity above reproach.
Honorable ABF Hussaini, it's a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, my brother, and thank you for.
He's a member of parliament for the Sagnerugu constituency, spokesperson of the minority in Ghana's parliament. Good evening, Obi. Honorable Abi for his vituperations. Nothing but that of a pain. Okay, he still sees nothing good in life if it's not from his perspective. The factual reality is that he is out of touch with reality. The least said is better. Ascona, Ewo Ebenezer down in Dansoman. Where he said, please tell ABF Husseini that when the airbus scandal comes up, he would appreciate the effort on corruption by this government. Edwin and on the way free takrade Abraham. The Deputy Information Minister Pius Enam Hajide said OTA now ABF Husseini has made some point or better say or betneteno kakra ede amaye. Pius akwa babio.
Yeah, Obi, thank you very much. I think that the Honorable Member of Parliament also deserves to listen to our response. And so I think that maybe we should allow to do this one in English so that he can also appreciate our response to some of the commentary that he passed on your network. First of all, Obi, I think that it is rather scandalous and very, very disappointing for a member of parliament re-elected to proceed in the manner in which Honorable ABF Husseini has proceeded this evening. Even when you tried to stop him and to advise him against wild and sometimes contemptuous claims, because some of the matters relate to cases that are in courts of competent jurisdiction, he will not budge and he will not listen to you. I think that in the spirit of the comments made by His Excellency the President, that the people of Ghana have illustrated to us clearly that they want a greater level of cooperation, especially in Parliament. We choose to only advise Honorable ABF Husseini to rather act in the national interest and to move away from extreme and excessive partisanship that drives us sometimes to even operate in the realms of illogical conclusions as he may have done this evening. On the matter of vote buying in Sagnarigu and in other constituencies, we want to state categorically that it is false. We deny it strongly. The facts show that, contrary to what ABF Husseini has said, he is becoming less and less popular amongst the constituents of Sagnarigu. His votes continue to reduce, and in the last election, he performed woefully compared to the presidential candidate of the NDC. It tells you clearly that the conduct, the manner, the attitude, and behavior of Honorable ABF Husseini is becoming increasingly abhorrent to the people of Sagnarigu. And they are making the statement to him that he is not a worthy and able representative of the good people of Sagnarigu. You have to understand why the presidential candidate who does not stay with the people, who does not have, as it were, the people's direct parliamentary mandate to represent them, is able to perform better than the MP from that constituency. So this should be a lesson to Honorable ABF Husseini. And I think that some of the reasons why he is beginning to lose popularity is this penchant of his to resort to extreme partisanship and sometimes just blindly will throw out fabricated and complete falsehoods into the system. And he should be guided by that. Number two, Honorable ABF Husseini speaks about corruption and suggests that the Sona statement, the State of the Nation address,
was silent on corruption matters.
Was silent. I think that because he did not listen, and he himself confessed that he did not listen, I think he missed it out. The president spoke to corruption and addressed the nation on the several interventions and programs and policies and actions that have been taken to combat the canker called corruption. you don't fight corruption necessarily by shouting vituperations on radio. You fight corruption by, for instance, empowering the anti-graft agencies. And if Mr. ABA Fuseni is minded to check this country's history, even budgetary allocations to anti-graft agencies have seen monumental improvement under the watch of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. You can check. In the words of the Auditor General, who is on leave today, unprecedented investments into human and capital resource to, for instance, the audit service is what he is seeing. He has not seen it before. We established the office of the special prosecutor and gave it the support that was needed. You check the allocations to IOCO and all the anti-graft agencies. And so we have put our money where our mouth is relative to corruption. We are fighting it. We are not just by vituperations on radio.
Yeah, but he was specific with some corruption allegations and scandals. So he mentioned the Airbus, for
I said number 2.
Okay.
The attitude of His Excellency President Nana Akufo-Addo is that he wants to have any and every allegation of corruption, no matter how unfounded it seems, he wants to have it investigated. We're in this country. The NDC Member of Parliament for Boku, I believe, made the comment that made an allegation of bribery against an MPP ministerial nominee. In that same allegation, a member of the NDC was cited. In fact, the deputy leader of the NDC was cited by Honorable Ayariga as the conduit for the so-called corruption. Honorable Muntaka came out publicly to deny that this is not true, it is fabrication. One would have thought that the denial from a leading member of the NDC at the level of leadership would have set the matter to rest. The party, the NPP, the majority party in government, agreed and held an open, transparent parliamentary hearing into the matter. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
The president supported that even on that most flimsy basis, that unsubstantiated, and you can see clearly that fabricated basis, even then, His Excellency allowed for an investigation into this matter. I'll give you another example. You remember the discredited allegation of corruption relative to, and they used to call it cash for seats, when the Trade Ministry decided that instead of using state resources to organize an award, they were going to go out there and fundraise from the public sector to organize an award ceremony. And so they went out there, they did not use public funds, they went and fundraised. They raised funds from the private sector to organize these awards. The NDC made claims that there was corruption and so on and so forth. His Excellency the President agreed and insisted that let there be a bipartisan, open and transparent interrogation of this matter. At the end of the day, when the NDC had to make a case, they were nowhere to be found. And I can go on and on and on and on. Every single matter, no matter how unfounded, no matter how unmeritorious, no matter how flimsy it is, even to ordinary lay minds, when you can see clearly that this allegation lacks substance, there is nothing to it. Even then, the attitude of this administration is that let us have it properly investigated. On every single allegation, the president allows the institutions of state that have the powers and the mandate to investigate. Sometimes it's the police, sometimes it's Siraj, and so on and so forth. If Mr. Mahama, accused by a member of the NPP that he was involved in something he found quite uncharitable, and I'm talking about, you remember, the case of our regional chairman for, I believe, Bono East, who made an allegation against former President John Dramani Mahama.
You mean Bono regional chairman?
Mr. Mahama proceeded to the police CID. He had confidence in the police CID to investigate the matter and to possibly prosecute. And if Mr. Mahama can have confidence in the police CID
Ekosiisen
to
on
investigate the matter and probably prosecute a matter, how is it that when another matter is duly referred to the Ghana police, that point our brothers and sisters in the NDC at that point will no longer have any confidence in the police of the Republic, and that they would think that once it is the police or any other state institution that has investigated and found no wrongdoing, then it was a sham investigation.
But are you not also picking and choosing? Because he makes the point about the Ameri Innovation deal and what it meant to government, and the fact that Parliament had to play that oversight responsibility to unearth what was in there. He makes mention of the Ejapa deal and the controversy surrounding the special prosecutor and his resignation and all of that. Those are classic examples of what was wrong relative to the fight against corruption, no?
Yeah, but Obi, it will be most uneducated to make the claims of corruption relative to these two issues that have just been discussed. They may be contentious, they may be controversial, there may have been challenges in Parliament, people preferred opinion, and they may have advocated that opinion strongly, and at the end of the day, their opinion may have carried the day. But how is that corruption? That an arrangement was sent to Parliament, and parliamentarians in the process of their legitimate duty of interrogating the arrangement may have found some challenges and pointed that out, and that the administration then listened and decided that they were not going to pursue the matter any further. How is that corruption? I'm at a loss. I'm scandalized at the
but if the agreement left the table of the executive, in the case of the Ameri Innovation deal, it came with an executive, support. So the executive gave assent to that before it went to Parliament. I mean, that cannot be said to be a result of the parliamentary wing doing their legitimate job as playing oversight over the executive. I mean, the executive could have corrected it before it got to Parliament.
Obi, assuming without admitting that there may have been some very serious challenges with an arrangement in Parliament, I'm saying that, how do you say that because there were challenges with an arrangement that was brought before Parliament, and members of Parliament in the conduct of their legitimate job to criticize and to interrogate arrangements that are brought before Parliament, found out that, well, we are not comfortable with one or two, and get the administration to, as it were, maybe back down on a move? How does that translate into corruption? What definition of corruption will suffice for something like that? How is that corruption?
Okay.
And so I'm saying that members of Parliament will have to make credible submissions on air. They have to exhibit some amount of conduct and truthfulness when they engage the people of Ghana. The elections are over. The people of Ghana have reposed a mandate, a huge mandate, by a decisive electoral victory on His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. I think that what responsible, serious-minded, and nation-loving politicians should do at this point is to seek to close ranks, to work together, and to collaborate. But we are listening to members of the NDC, a spokesperson of the NDC, who is saying to us that he will not take the call from His Excellency the President. And in fact, the call from the people of Ghana that we should see a higher level of cooperation between the two political parties in Parliament. He just told us, Honorable ABA Fuseni just told us that they are treating that call with contempt and that they are not going to cooperate. But let me inform Honorable ABA Fuseni and other members of Parliament, and I doubt if there are any more members of Parliament on the ticket of the NDC who would think like him. But let me make the appeal and advice to Honorable ABA Fuseni that he has a duty to the Constitution. He has a duty to his constituents and the people of Ghana to work in the interest of this country and not to be guided by excessive and extreme partisan politics that is destructive and not productive to the cause of this country. And so if we need to cooperate, cooperation doesn't mean that if you find a challenge or a problem, don't talk about it. And I think that in his excessive political element, he self-indicts. He indicts himself and created the impression that when the 7th Parliament was in full session, they were derelict in their duty, and that the president didn't make a call for collaboration at that time. And so he created the impression that within the 7th Parliament, they were not up to the task and they didn't do their job. I believe that in the 7th Parliament, they collaborated, but at the same time, when they had to be critical, they were critical. But to say that you are not going to take the advice, you are going to treat it with contempt, and that there will not be any cooperation, I think that the voters in Sagnarugu and the people of Ghana must begin to take note of the attitude of persons such as Honorable A.B. Fuseni and the NDC generally. The politics that we are doing, we are not doing for our own sake. We are doing the politics. We are members of parliament. We are members of government for and on behalf of the people of Ghana. If the people say that you should collaborate, we must collaborate.
Pius.
And so, please, let us work at bringing everybody towards the center. We believe that the people of Ghana have reposed an overwhelming electoral victory on Nana Akufo-Addo. The analogy that my brother makes that because Mr. Mahama may have won, the NDC may have won some parliamentary seats from the NPP, necessarily means that they have won the presidential. It is as though every constituency has the same number of persons. If you go to Ketu South, for instance, there are over 120,000 voters in Ketu South. There are constituencies in this country that you go to, you can get voter population sizes of about 10,000. So if the people of Ketu South vote and they produce one MP, that may, in presidential number terms, be different from a constituency where somebody may have just been declared MP by 10,000 votes. You take the Ashanti region and they argue the same argument. They have said that, oh, we have won so and so number of regions, and so it means that Mr. Mahama has won. You take one region in the nominal terms, the figures. One region can actually liquidate, for instance, about 6 or 7 regions put together. So that is why I was surprised that such simplistic argumentation can be made that because the NPP had a certain majority in parliament and that majority has been reduced, it means that they necessarily have lost the presidential seat. It is an attack on the logic by any means of imagination. So we in the NPP, the attitude as has been communicated by our leader and the leader of the nation, the president, is that our politics must begin to change and conform to the desire of the people of Ghana.
He says the call from the president is not an honest one. But the president even never spoke about the 8 people who lost their lives because of the just ended election. It found no space in the president's speech. He makes that point.
The president spoke, Obi. Maybe again, Honorable A.B. Fuseni did not listen. The president spoke about the unfortunate violence that characterized the activities post-declaration of the elections and asked that we should work to prevent those actions in the future. It is those acts of violence, it is those invitations to chaos and anarchy. Those are the reasons why the 8 unfortunate deaths that Honorable A.B. Fuseni may be speaking to occurred. And so the president is not dealing with the symptoms, the president is dealing with the root causes of the matter. which is that when elections are conducted, whether you like the outcome or not, there are constitutionally laid out ways and processes by which you can deal with your feelings, whether you are happy or unhappy. You cannot decide that because I am unhappy about the outcome of an election, I will take the law into my own hands, I will attack security agencies, I will destroy state property, and so on and so forth. Those are the triggers that may lead to the unfortunate loss of lives. And so when the president deals with the matters at the base, when the president deals with the substantive, causative issues, and somebody is asking us to focus on the symptoms, then the person is completely at sea as to what is happening. The person has no understanding of why what happened. And the person is just being overly political and simplistic. So it is not true that the president did not speak to the issue of the unfortunate incidents that may have resulted in the death, or that indeed resulted in the death of some Ghanaian citizens. The president spoke about it, but maybe not in so many words, or maybe not in the manner that Honorable ABA Fuseni may have wanted. He may have wanted for the president to mention names and so on and so forth. But that would have been his style. But in substance, it is not correct that the president didn't speak to these matters. But this is a gentleman who, even though he is paid by the people of Ghana, even though he is elected by his constituents, the good people of Sagnarigu, to sit in parliament and listen to the state of the nation and to interrogate it intelligently and properly, decides not to listen because of extreme and excessive partisan political considerations. He decides to relegate on his constitutional duty of sitting down in parliament and doing the work of parliamentarians, and decides to do whatever. When asked what he was doing at the time that he should have been doing the people's work of sitting in parliament and listening to Sona, he calls your bluff. He decides not to answer. He tells you that, well, I'm saying that I was not there. It is as though he is in parliament on his own. It's as though he doesn't understand that he's there to represent the people of Sagnarigu, and that the people of Sagnarigu were expecting, in fact, demanded of him today to have been in parliament, to listen to the Sona and contribute meaningfully to it.
Pius Enam Hajide, it's a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Enjoy Deputy Information Minister and Moten and Kana Ekosiisen Soni, a higher Sempa 94.7 FM. And the Anchi, did you media no ebeba a but before that, the 29 after 6 years, you been 5 minutes media for calls, kakra. And to fry 0302 216 545 and a 0302 216 546. Na yintie won so ene